Step 5 in building that path from employee to entrepreneur and crossing that chasm for the first time, if you're able to, you want to try to make sure that you have some kind of financial foundation to mitigate the risk, because it's definitely going to be expensive building your business. Now, if you're buying a franchise, that's a very known cost, a sunk cost. It might cost you 50 to 250 grand. And if you're saving up for that and trying to build towards it, you'll know very clearly what that's going to be. If you're building a coaching business, a consulting brand, a personal brand where you want to try to, become an artist, a musician, it's a little bit more gray, where the fixed costs and startup costs aren't always as true based on everybody's path. It might vary quite a bit, where when we started Rhythm, we knew that between $50,000 and $100,000 would probably get the job done for all the equipment, the space, the talent, shooting all the courses and everything. So our fixed costs were a little bit flexible. Every different person and every journey is going to have a very, very different financial foundation that it's going to take you to start your business. Best case scenario, you have about 3 to 6 months of runway getting out of your corporate job. So worst case, if they say, hey, we knew you were building a side hustle business, we saw it, we don't accept that here for whatever reason, which would be ridiculous because half the country has a side hustle right now, you at least have 3 to 6 months of runway where you can start building your brand. The long tail of this, if you're one that likes to mitigate risk and is more risk adverse, you can start planning for this. So if you can have 6 to 12 months of expenses and cash flow and understand that you have a little bit of a nest egg, then just build a spreadsheet of what those startup costs are going to be. So understanding what your time is going to be worth, understanding the equipment necessary, any physical space you're going to need, any talent or human resources or hiring you're going to have to do, any marketing you're going to have to do, building your materials, everything from building a website to getting the domain name to start to run your first social ads and get your voice out there. Every startup is 100% unique and 100% different. So the next thing in this sequence is to understand the financial foundation that you need personally to go from employee to entrepreneur. Some might need a week, some might need 5 years. It just depends on your financial situation and how you want to launch your business. It's always better to have a great nest egg and a big war chest to go in to start any business with. The more money you have, the more you have saved up, the better off you're going to be. That eliminates your need to go out and raise funding, take a really high interest loan, take a really high interest line of credit. All of these things can hinder your business, especially later stages as you bring on new investors or you go to sell it. So the more cash positive, the more financially sound you are at the very beginning of this process is always a really good thing. This is not to scare you, to say run away from the business because you need 3 to 6 months. This is preparation for the rest of your life. This is laying the foundation for becoming the person that you have to become to run a business and be successful as an entrepreneur. So the smarter you are with your money, the more prepared you are, and the more foundation you have, the better off you're going to be in the short, medium, and long term. Because the last thing you want to do is think that, oh, these guys started a startup and they raised $60 million right away. That doesn't happen overnight. You have to have an amazing proof of concept, an amazing board, great relationships, probably a successful exit under your belt prior to that, before people will even consider giving you venture capital. So rid yourself of all the delusion that money is just going to show up at your door. If you want to go the venture route, there's an amazing path for that. There's a ton of venture capital and some amazing VCs for any type of business that you have that would be more than willing to fund your business once you feel you're ready. But the best thing you can do is lay a really solid financial foundation so that you can alleviate and mitigate a lot of the risk, because when you're building a business, I promise you, the startup costs are going to compound very, very quickly, and you can be buried in debt way before you even start. And sometimes it takes 50, 100, 250, 500, $1 million to build that business even before you go to launch in stealth mode, before you get your first batch of clients. So I would recommend that it's very important to understand your financial situation personally and map that out either in a spreadsheet or in QuickBooks or in something with your partner, and understand once we make this jump, if I have to spend $5,000, $10,000 a month to build my business, which will very much likely be the case, how much runway do we have before that cash runs out if I'm not able to get my first client for 3, 6, 12 months? So very unique situation for each individual startup and each entrepreneur, but make sure you're leaning into the financial foundation to make sure that you mitigate risk and that you're ready to truly lean in and start your business and hit the ground running once you do.